Hello there, how are you doing? I am trying to do too many things at the moment. I'm trying to do far too many things. Trails TM, ooh, reminder on. Missed yesterday live. Well, that was a shame. We had Fiona on yesterday. It was great fun. Judy the Big Shed's time to put things in perspective. Oh, I get it. I get it. Where am I? I am absolutely exhausted. This is, I think, trying to do this every day is a bit crazy. Um, it seemed like a good idea. So, I kind of spend, suddenly I find it's kind of 11:30 in the morning, and I spent the whole time preparing, and then I spend an hour preparing beforehand, and I got other stuff to do. It's really, really difficult. So anyway, today we are doing Jessica Taylor, hi again, Clay Ratcliffe, lol, Chris Bin, hi all. So today we are going to be doing perspective, and this is because Sonia F, let me just check. So many names to remember. Sonia F, I'm right. Sonia F contacted me and said she was having terrible trouble with perspective. And I started yesterday because you may remember we were talking to Fiona Kenshall all about editing and agents and movie rights, stuff like that. Which I think you will agree was a pretty amazing session. She's, as one of you, was it Clay, said, I can't remember, Crispin, I think, said she is a force of nature. She certainly is, but you ain't seen nothing yet, because tomorrow I have got Renita Boyle coming along, who is a storyteller. She's wild and crazy. And if you've not met a force from nature before, you will tomorrow. So that'll be fun. Let me check out here. I've got sort of things all set up slightly differently today. LR Asphera says, how are you? I am not quite sure. I think a little bit warm, but it could just be because it's warm in the studio. I think a little bit warm. I'm feeling a little tickle in my throat, and I'm telling myself I'm fine. I'm fine. Carolina, how are you? Today I'm here too. Excellent. 123 Rock fan says, this pandemic virus means that I'm able to watch Shoo live. While I like watching live, I hope that changes soon. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. We want to get back to normal. Rerun Rescue perspective is my weak point. I'm thrilled you're doing this. Joyce, hi Joyce. Hello Shoo. I'm needing some perspective right up now in Wigtown. We all need a little perspective in our lives at the moment. I think perspective is something that troubles many people. It doesn't really trouble me, and I think I've always sort of understood it instinctively, and I think I particularly sort of got it looking at like sort of Fra Angelico and all those sort of ancient Renaissance painters who always loved to have lots of squares, like tiles on the floor, all going off into the distance to prove that they knew all about perspective. And I kind of worked that out. And I remember when I was sort of 13 or something with a ruler doing all this perspective stuff and drawing checkerboards and sort of thinking, wow, that's cool. and kind of got it, I suppose, maybe by doing that, I got it into my head. But I know particularly with my house here, I did a lot of building 20 years ago. And so we got the architect's plans all built, done up, and I had them pinned up around the place while I was kind of working out what I was trying to do, and if we kind of had a group of friends came over for dinner, they'd say, what are you doing? So I say, oh, come and see the plans, and we'd all stand in front of it, and I'd go, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing that, and half of us would be going, oh yeah, and it wasn't just all the guys, because some of the ladies would be going, yeah, but some of the others would be going, I don't understand, and they couldn't see the second floor on top of the first floor, or the first floor rather on top of the the ground floor. They couldn't sort of marry the two things together, And I think it's something you get to be able to do inside your head. But let's go back to assuming I can do that. I think I need to just change the. I'm gonna have to change the camera angle a second here. Oh no, that's worked perfectly. Yeah, there we go. So this was what we started on yesterday, and Sonia, I was going to reprint this out. Sonia sent me this picture. Actually, I might be able to just link you into the original. If I was to go, no, I don't want that. I don't want to do 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 that either, do I? No. What am I doing? I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Hang on a minute. I've got so many windows open. I'm not sure what I'm showing. So if I was to do right, and I can't find out where can I. If I do that and then I change to Affinity Photo, I can show you. I was in the process of trying to print this out. If I get rid of that cancel thing. So this was we get there. This was what Sonia sent me. Now I can't find my live window. I've got so many windows open here, and it's just I need more window space. So this is what Sonia sent me, and the red line up here. That's what she said. She was trying to sort of get to be the line of perspective, and so she said she couldn't get the furniture, this cupboard, wardrobe, to kind of fit into the room. So now let me go back. If I come back to that, yes. So this is what I was doing yesterday, and this line here is the line that Sonia had, that she was trying to make in the room. And I was explaining that if you wanted that line to be there, to be able to see this room, you would have to be a fly on the wall, a fly on the ceiling, in fact. And you're kind of looking down into the room. And in fact, you'd have to really to be up in the attic space with a glass roof looking down, because of the way this works. So perspective. So this basically we're working on 1 point perspective here, which all goes back to a vanishing point or a VP. And so everything needs to kind of, it's kind of a law of perspective. Everything has to work to these lines that all radiate out from the vanishing point. And you will, in fact, let me find the pen, then this, in fact, will be the horizon as well. So outside the house, if you're imagining outside this room way in the distance, then, you might have mountains and things and a city or something like that, and the Eiffel Tower. That would have to be Las Vegas, wouldn't it, actually? It's only Las Vegas that has the Eiffel Towers and mountains around. So let's have a closer look at what is going on here. While I find some paper. Get some paper down here. So, and I'm just going to work out how much space I got here, around about that, and that, and that. Good. So, I remember when, I don't know, I was about 8, 9, 10 years old, then a family friend of ours who was an architect, he taught me this trick, and he said, look, draw these lines coming out from a point like that. And I think I did a video about this a long time ago. And he said, now draw kind of a curve like that, and then you can kind of build a ship on the top of this. And then he said you put funnels on the top there, and then that's going to be sort of going down there. This is going to be the horizon. So that's going to be, all the waves and stuff in the distance. And he said, and then a bit of whooshy stuff like that, and a load of portholes along the side. And you get this kind of, pretty good pretty good for a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, ship, and then you put some smoke coming out of the funnels on the top, and that's that's what transatlantic liners look like in those days. It was a long time ago. So this is your basic, very, very basic 1-point perspective, and it all goes to this one vanishing point on the horizon. And this works in many, many other ways as well. So if we sort of have a point there, we can draw more lines coming out like that, and we can sort of maybe build a house. So then we want to be, everything else will be parallel to the horizon and parallel to the perpendicular of the horizon. So we go parallel to the horizon, and then we go perpendicular like that. But there we've got that line. So this then wants to head towards that vanishing point, and we'll go up until we meet that point there. This will be horizontal to the horizon, and then we can come out a little bit like that and put a roof on. This will be heading down to there, and then that will want to be parallel to the roof bit there. So we want a little bit, we want it to go over, don't we, like that. So I'm just going to scribble that in so you get a feeling of what's going on there. And the door will go along that line, the window will go along that line, and the window upstairs will also, this line will follow that line. Any window over here will be square to the horizon and the perpendicular to the horizon, if that makes sense. So this is a kind of a classic kind of drawing that you'll get with a 1-point perspective. This is the pavement or the sidewalk outside the house. And another classic thing that you will see sometimes, if we had that going up more up there, is there'll be telegraph wires outside the house, which will be getting sort of higher and higher, but the trunks, the poles will be getting thicker as they get closer to you. And then we can put those bits in there, and then we can sort of sling the wires with curves, and the next one will be down there, so that we're getting this feeling of this is close and that is far away. And this is going dyslexic again. 1-point perspective. Now I'm going to give you a moment to make some comments, and I'm going to come and have a look, because there's this 10-second delay or something. So I'm going to come over and have a look at your comments. So if you've got questions at this point, let me know now. And what have we got on here? Perspective is my weak point. Last time I saw you was at my old primary school, says hello, as if you were. It's good to know you haven't fallen ill from the virus, but it's good. I hope you haven't too either. Joyce Cochran, oh my days, Renita, prepared to be amazed, good people. Oh, do keep well shoes. I'm trying. Justin Taylor says, howdy, Justin, love your show. Rock fan, sometimes perspective feels like I'm doing math and not being artistic. I think that's why I have difficulty with it. I think that is a really, really good point. And yes, it is. Yeah. I think there probably is a load of maths in there, certainly a lot of geometry. And if you go and have a look at my, I think I can put it up somewhere. Yes, look, draw stuff real easy. If you go and have a look at my other channel, not now, but afterwards, go and have a look at my other channel, Draw Stuff Real Easy, and type in Draw Stuff Real Easy, geometry, or Euclid. And in fact, I can type that in probably. So if I go and put, in case you don't know how to spell Euclid, because it's, oh, wait a minute. And I want to do EUCLID. That's not right. I want to do like that, and then there we go. If you go to draw stuff real easy and then type in Euclid, you'll see I did a whole series of videos about the essence of geometry, and I think you know, they don't quite really teach geometry now like they used to. For the previous 2,000 years. Something happened round about 1968. They taught geometry in the same way from when Euclid did it, sort of 500 BC or something like that. For 2,500 years, they taught geometry the same way, and then about 1968, everything went digital. Or it began to get digital. It took me years to work out what changed, but basically it was sort of the introduction of computers and digital and ones and binary and stuff like that. So geometry didn't get taught in the same way. When I was young, we did a lot of construction. We had our compasses. Oh, can I find my compass? We would have our compasses. And we would be constructing angles and squares and circles and triangles and perpendiculars and things. And we really kind of got this geometry thing in my head. And I used to do really well in geometry at school. I was terrible at arithmetic, terrible at algebra. I was top in geometry because it was kind of like drawing and it was fun and I really liked it. It's get a little bit tricky adding up the angles, but that's arithmetic. So I think it's kind of like learning to write. You know, when you get inspired and you want to write a poem or something, you don't really think about making those shapes of the letters. You just do it because you've done that work. And when you're making the shapes of the letters, that is really, really hard work. When you're learning the grammar and you're learning how to put words together, how to put sentences together, that is really, really hard work. But you did it when you were young. You didn't learn the geometry and you didn't learn the maths. And that's what's missing. So you really have to kind of grit your teeth and say, okay, this is maths and this is kind of not the free artistic stuff. But once you understand it, you can lay all the free artistic stuff over the top without thinking or having to worry about it. And in fact, once you get to that point, you can start distorting it and doing really interesting things because you know why you're distorting it and why it looks weird, but it still kind of works. So how are we doing with the questions? Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3 rock fan. Trail says, hi Shoo, yo, hi, very complicated. Got any roadblocks? It is complicated. It is, and yet it isn't. Once you get it, it just makes perfect sense. You have to play with it a lot, okay? Tegan Brienne says, hi, Godly Roadblock, how are you? I'm fine, thank you, at the moment. What are you going to draw? We are doing perspective. Rerun Rescue, you always look so comfortable doing these videos. I couldn't talk non-stop for so long. That's probably why my throat is actually feeling the way it is, because I have been sort of talking a lot this week on videos. Trail says, awesome intro shoot. This is vital info for all. It is, yeah. So, Caroline, when you draw a street scene, how do you get it all balanced in perspective, light, background, etc.? Is there a step-by-step list? Well, I'll try and come to that. I think with the light, so let me just come back to here, and I'm going to see if I can find under my pile of stuff. I'm going to get some tracing paper. So it's not tracing paper, it's what is it called? It's called layout pad. So what is going to happen with the light and stuff when you're drawing is, if you're drawing your what's it called, telegraph pole here, then this is going to be actually really quite dark. I'm going to get this is a brush pen, so I'm going to do that there, and then and then this one here is going to be sort of quite dark. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that'll be quite dark. And then this here is going to start kind of fading into the distance. So things in the distance, and then this one you can make really kind of fadey. So here you've got nice big telegraph wires or electric wires or whatever. And then these can be a little bit more, and that could be a little bit more fadey down there. And so you've got the size making a difference into the distance. And so the nearest thing is kind of the biggest and boldest, and that's the thing that you kind of draw with big lines. And then the further away, you can either draw with thinner lines, or you can draw with a sort of a lighter shade. If you're in pencil, press less, so that they sort of fade into the distance. And where we were talking about shadow the other day, let's just put the sun in there, why don't we? And then you're going to have coming this way, and the sun will be coming that way, and the sun will be coming that way. And these will be kind of making shadows on the ground like that. So, where are we? Let's come back to the questions. I've got so many things going on here. So, Joyce, wow, beautifully explained. Thank you, Joyce. Hannah Fountain, how would you apply this to landscapes? I guess the same, but maybe a quick example. Well, this is kind of... where are we now? This is already kind of a landscape. So, I suppose, you know, if you've got... Yeah, I mean, let's think of this as an avenue of trees, in the same kind of thing going on there. So we will have, you know, a big tree here, boing, 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 boing. That's very artistic. But over here, you will have a much kind of smaller tree, even though in reality it is as big as that one, and this one will be even smaller. And again, so this will be. You put a lot of work into the leaves and stuff in this one, and then this one will use kind of more fading, and this is more fading, and the one down there, you know, you're just sort of sketching in there, and so, you know, you might have then kind of mountains in the distance like that, and you could have a path going like that, but you could also have, you know, it could also be a river meandering along there, but the river will of course be getting thinner and thinner as it goes into the background, because it's following laws of perspective. There we are. Does that help, Hannah Fountain? I hope that helps a little bit. Rerun Rescue question, fine, but do something round using perspective, like a lighthouse, because something like a house is easy. It's just lines. Okay, that's, yeah. Okay. So we're going to stick with 1 point perspective. Let's start this again. So we want to have, in fact, I'm going to make it slightly different, this one. So we'll have the horizon line there. And we want it to go up and up and up and up and up and up. So this is going to be land way in the distance. And we want to have the base of the lighthouse will be parallel to the horizon, and the top of it will be parallel to the horizon as well. So we got this line coming down here. Let's have another one there, and that's going to be the base there, which is going to be an ellipse, because a lighthouse is basically a cylinder like that, although it is a narrower at the top. So this will then want to come up there like that, and then this like that is kind of where you're looking at the top, but that is also going to be a cylinder. Here you're looking down on the cylinder, so that's going to be the base, and that's going to be the top up there, and you want to build the light bit up on the top there, and I'm just going to have a kind of a something like that on the top. So we're following this. We're following these lines, and we're using those lines to work out where these lines are going to be, okay, so that we can build ellipses around those points. Here at the bottom, we can come down, and so we know we're going to be looking down on that ellipse. Up here, we are looking up at the ellipse, so that we can then come up into the kind of light chamber place. And then we're looking up under an ellipse for this kind of roof part up there. And I'll give it a little kind of pointy hat, because I can't think what else to do. So that would be the kind of the glass. There's probably more. That's probably solid there. But we've got this kind of the glass bit up at the top there with light beams coming out from there. And little windows and a door at the bottom. And so this is either the horizon of the sea, or it could be, you know, as I said before, New York or Boston or Singapore, London, whatever. And we can then put this onto a rock in the middle of the ocean, and this is the ocean. And in fact, we can still go further than that, because this is the vanishing point. We can have the buildings like that, so that we know quite where how these buildings look as well. So, and that'll be coming to here, and that will be a very narrow angle. That would be a narrow angle. Let's have another big building here. That's coming up there. Like that. So these are kind of skyscrapers in the distance, and we have one gigantic one there, which is right over, so that will be absolutely bang on facing us. Does that make sense? Let's come back to your questions and comments. And I keep losing my pen, my digital pen, my Wacom pen, because I don't use a mouse at all, so I keep putting this down all over the place. What have we got? Sometimes like doing maths, very complicated. And would you apply landscape? There we are. Question 5. But is it lighthouse? Joyce says, I wasn't good at maths and wasn't good at art. Now I understand why. But you are great at books, Joyce. In fact, everybody, look, if you're stuck inside, and I can put a little thing up here and go and do that. I can put Old Bank Bookshop. Oh, I can't do that. Hang on. Oh, Old Bank Bookshop. .co.uk. So, if you are stuck inside in the coronavirus and you've run out of books and you don't know what to do, go to the oldbankbookshop.co.uk and Joyce will go and find some random books for you for a fee, of course, and she will curate a selection of books for you, and she will send them to you. So and that will help keep her bookshop going. So if you want to do that, do that. But Joyce is a great sort of, they're all secondhand books. She's a secondhand bookseller. She has a great selection. So sort of go and have a look. There we are. Geometry. The good old days. Yes, trails. I still use geometry in all my drawings before I draw exactly. And I think, you know, some people do very, very precise drawings and they do very precise geometry. Some people and they just draw any old thing. But in their head, they know what the geometry is and they've worked it out and they just do it instinctively. Marilyn Moser, hello everyone. Rachel Sanders, we remember geometry and compasses so well. We of a certain ages. Trails DM, if you're going to use 3D tools, geometry is 101. Exactly. So if you want to do, 3D digital stuff, it's all geometry. Olivia Mills goes, yay! Oh, wait a minute, can I do that? Olivia Mills goes, 123 Rocket Fan says thanks. Mary Gotcha Ammo. Ooh. Marilyn Moses, I have a problem with shading. I never really know how to shade things properly. Well, we did a bit of shading earlier this week. Go back and have a look at that video. Marilyn Moses, this is funny. You're already answering. You can definitely tell Shoo has experience when he draws telephone lines in a few seconds flat, and it looks perfect already. Marilyn Moses, I'm talking about colour. I'm not. Colour is tricky. I'm not really a great colour person. So I'm not the person to ask that much. Hannah Fountain says, it does? Marilyn Rose, if you're using one colour, then another, how do I change the colour to make it look like shading? Okay. Let me go back to that one. Oops, as I nearly pour water all over the place. So, I'm going, I should use this set. Yeah, I found it. The thing about shading, okay, I'm going to show this with watercolour. It's very different with like acrylics or oil paint, but let's take a colour like this. So this is cadmium yellow, and in watercolour, so let's erase those lines out of there. And this is very cheap photocopy paper. So here I'm going to use quite strong yellow. Okay, so this is kind of yellow pretty much coming off the paint like that. And there the sun is coming, so I want that to look more paler. Yeah, I want that to look paler. So with watercolour, you add more water. And that makes it thinner, which means that the light from the paper is coming through, and so we can do it a lighter shade like that. So it's not a lighter shade. Hang on, wait a minute. Is it a lighter shade? No, that's a tint, isn't it? A tint has white added to it, okay, and a shade has black added to it. So if I wanted to make this one much darker, or if let's say I want a little shadow in there, then I need to add, and I haven't got anything here, so I'll have to mix. Okay, so I'm going to mix a bit of burnt umber with ultramarine blue. I wanted to call it aquamarine, and a bit of, to get a kind of a grey. And then I'm going to add that in with the yellow. So now that means, say we got a shadow created over here, then that will be a tint of the yellow. So that's the yellow, which is a hue. This is a tint of the hue, because it has more white in it, and the white comes from the white in the paper, and you get that by making a thinner coating of paint, i.e. it has more water in it. And this then here is a shade which is made by adding grey, and in this set we don't have grey, but we kind of make it by mixing blues and browns together, and then we'll kind of add that in with the yellow, to get that kind of a colour. So we could have sort of shades in there, which kind of look kind of a weird greeny kind of thing, but that's colour for you. Colour plays really strange tricks. So, does that help? I hope so. Marilyn Moses, using one colour than another. There you go. Hannah Fountain. Oh, no camera. Oh, this is when it all went. Everyone's saying, how do we tell him? How do we tell him to change the camera? Oh. I need to have an electro cattle prod, don't I? So that when I don't change, so to have a Bluetooth cattle prod, so that when you sort of are on the other end, you can click it. There'll be a special emoji, a cattle prod emoji, and when that comes up, and I know I haven't changed the camera, so we'll work on it. We'll work on it. She forgot to change the camera. Can't see. How do we get it? Can't see. Can't see. We don't see. Oh dear. This is when I go and put the kettle on. Okay. He just wants to join. Now it'll be cut back to the Mona Lisa or something. You disappear. Peekaboo. Shoo, where are you? Don't have his phone number. Jessica. Messenger apps have buzz alarm feature to get attention. YouTube should adapt. They should actually, shouldn't they? Actually, I think I did have a noise on, and it used to go doo 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 every time there was a comment came on, but it was so distracting. I turned that off, so maybe that's the thing. I have a large piece of paper that says check camera. I do. Judy in the big shed sent me these little cards which say, have you switched the cameras? But you know, you get complacent, don't you? There we are. Heinrich, there where are we now? This Marilyn Moser, he, that's so funny. Just think, how could we tell a YouTuber while he's online? I request all the viewers to suggest some innovative ideas. There's got to be something, isn't there? Like, you know, a piece of string. I could drill a hole through the wall and a piece of string, and that's not going to work, is it? What have we got? Avery Bryant. Can I have a shout out? I lost all my subscribers. Oh, Avery Bryant, you lost all your subscribers. Does anybody want to go and subscribe? Dabby Disco, can you shout me out? You've had a few of those. Heinrich, there is a penalty fine for late arrivals. Chrissy, which tablet do you have? I use a Wacom something or other. Intuos Pro. If you search, you will find, I did, a review on it, because Wacom actually sent it to me, which was really great. I really needed it at the time. No, I've lost everything. I've lost all your comments. Oh no! They've moved. Right, where are we now? Which tablet? Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. I keep doing that. I think it's important, says Crispin Dry, to show how the position of the horizon line affects the apparent viewpoint of the viewer. I will do that. I think we're only going to get 1 point. Well, we'll do 2 point next week. How about that? Joyce, have you ever taught art in schools, Shoo? In schools? No, only... Not as an art teacher, no. But when I go in as an author and illustrator, I go to tell stories and I show kids how to draw things. And occasionally a school asked me to come in and spend a day drawing. I had a fantastic time. So last September, October time with 2 year 6 classes. So they are they would have been 10 going on 11, I suppose, at the time. And they were doing a big World War II thing. So I spent the day drawing Spitfires and bombers and bombs and flames and stuff like that. And it was fantastic. And the kids worked so hard. And that was great because it was all explaining about, you know, cylinders, how planes are put together and the shapes they make. And that was a really good day. Where are we now? Jessica Taylor. I learned more art from my favourite YouTubers, including you, than I ever learned at high school. Well, yeah. You see, that's tricky because when you were at high school, you were going, "No, I don't want to do this." And you got a teacher desperately trying to teach you and engage you or something. And you go, "No, I don't want to be here. I want to be out in the playground," or, you know, I want to be not in the playground, but the yard, you know, sort of hanging out with my friends, and I want to be doing this. I want to get back on YouTube. And when you're on YouTube, you choose to be here, whereas in an art class, you've probably been forced to be there. And that's what really makes the difference. So when you come onto YouTube, you are receptive. When you go into a high school art class, you might be slightly full of negative feelings. It's a possibility to consider. Where are we now? Hi Shoo from Connecticut, Joseph Miller. Hi Shoo, how much, if any, reference do you use when illustrating? That's a really I missed something there, haven't we? Yeah, hang on. I just got Ashok Kumar says, "Hi baby," say hello to me. Hello, Chrissy. Tint just means a shade or variety of color. It doesn't have to be white. Yeah, I think so. And then is the hue. I think is the level of intensity of the actual color, isn't it? Yeah. Or I think tint is. I think tint is one end of the spectrum of tint and shade. I think is black, white, and it's a kind of a grey scale that's added onto a hue, if I remember rightly. Marin, oh wow, thanks you. Thanks you. So I need to add grey. Awesome cattle emoji. Hee hee. Ha ha. Says Olivia Mills. How much, if any, reference do you use when illustrating? I do use quite a lot. So today, for instance, I have been drawing these kids here for a book I'm working on. And so I kind of had to go and really look at this kind of hat. And I pretty much nicked that hat from a thing I saw, but I've adapted it. And I've adapted that cat hat as well. And this toy box here is kind of a whole amalgam of things that I saw on Google. So I go and look at stuff and think, yeah, that's kind of what I want. It's not quite what I want, and oh, that's nice, but I'm going to change that and do that. And so I have a look at it and then I switch it off and then I come back and do my thing. So I don't kind of have it in front of me while I'm working on it. Does that make sense? Because I see things and I think, oh yeah, that's what I want. And I see it in my head and I draw then what I see in my head. Marilyn Moser, hi there, love this. You make me smile. Marilyn Moser, what do we call you? My name is Shoo. Trails, oh Shoo, have a look at the new Huion Studio 22. It's an all-in-one tablet computer. Just been released. I just can't. I just don't get that kind of working with working straight onto the computer. I presume you mean it's like an iPad kind of thing. I got an iPad Pro and a light pen thingy iPen, and I hate it. And I did so much digital work 20 years ago. I got really bored with it, so bored, and I kind of went back to drawing with pen and pencil. And I only use this and a tablet. I use this as my mouse. I don't really draw with it. So my Wacom pen and tablet is my mouse. Because if I use a mouse, I get terrible pains in my fingers, and I can use a pen and a tablet all day long. So, Trails. Oh, yeah. Joyce Cochran, you'd be a brilliant art teacher. Thank you so much. Olivia Mills, fantastic. The kids must have loved that. They did. They did work so hard. Joyce, I second that emotion. Rockefeller, I've been enjoying celebrities reading children's books on Instagram. Eddie Redmayne did a good reading of Zog by Julia Donaldson. I bet he did. And you may have, if you go back 2 weeks, you'll see I kind of started this afternoon sort of 4 o'clock everyday thing, telling stories. And then I realized everyone on the internet was suddenly telling stories. All my author friends are telling stories, and I thought, okay, I'll let them do that, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to let's have live art, and that's why I'm here now. Marilyn Moser, I love that drawing of the children. Great job. Is it possible for me to show you my art? I don't know. It's all about how much time I have. Hey, Shoo, can you draw a tank next live stream? I will have a little think about that. Marilyn Moser, you would make an excellent critic. Oh, I'm not sure about that. No Name says, something in Greek or Russian. Trail says, I'm trying my best to bring you into the dark side. Yes. No, I want to stay with pen and paper. Let's actually have a little think about a tank with this. Let's go back to the here, and I will whisk that bit off. And it says, have you switched the camera? Yes, I have. So let's go and have a look at this thing here. And again, I'm going to do lots of this, and I've forgotten already who mentioned it, saying that a lot of this is about the point of view. So let's be a bird in the sky. So we'll be a little bird up here. Is that on the camera? It is. And let's think about drawing a tank. Okay. So if we got these lines radiating out from there, again, we want to have parallel to the horizon line, and then that is going to be the basic floor plan of a tank. So if we kind of build up, again, let's take it that way. So that's going to be coming back to there. That'll be straight across. Let's think that this is then right, and then that's going to be there. Let's think that that's going to be kind of where the tracks are. So we'll have a little circly thing there, sort of something like that, so that the tracks are then going to sort of go like that, and similarly here. So then that will be kind of there and there. So the tracks will be like that, so that the front of the tank will be kind of in there, and then that will want to sort of come up and across and up similarly at the front, so that will be coming across there. We'll have a little hatch there with the guy's head sticking out, and then we're going to want to have the gun bit on the front there, and that again is going to be following the rules of perspective. And as that is sticking out, in fact, let's get the ruler on that so that we get that absolutely properly. So the gun is going to be there, then whoosh, like that, and there. Then it is going to be sticking right out in front, and will be something like that. And then we want it to, it sort of comes, had this sort of flash muzzle, something like that. I think that's what it is. So we're going to get those bits. So let me make some sense of that. So we're going to have, this is the kind of the flash muzzle bit on the front, like that. And then the barrel of the tank is coming all the way back to there, and then we've kind of got the up down bit kind of thing, and that will be the turret. That's the word I'm looking for. Let's have our little man sticking out here, with a little what do you call it, little hatch, so that then we can have kind of essentially the tank is sort of coming like this, and then we got that bit going across there. Does that make sense? And then we're going to have the tank tracks like that, which will then be something like that. And then we got the bogies holding the whole thing in like that, and then we've got little sort of things like that along there as well. And then we can, you know, sort of have tank tracks disappearing off into the distance. We can pretend this is, you know, in the desert, so we got the pyramids in the distance, something like that. And then you got the tank commander on the top with his sort of great big helmety kind of thing. He's sticking out over the top, and then you've got the turret there and a flag and stuff like that, and that's coming towards you. But you could also then have the same kind of things going like this, and we could build the tank complete. Hey, let me come down here. Let's do another thing. Something like that. So we could have the tank sort of here, and it's going to be kind of coming. It's going to be coming at you, and that would be the sort of the base. That will then come up into the top bit there. That will be kind of there. Is this making sense? So that'll be the tracks. And I have to say, my dad was in the army, so yeah, I drew a few tanks when I was a kid, and so again we're going to see kind of the turret about there, and then where's that's supposed to be coming up like that. So yeah, so in fact it'll be about there probably, won't it? Something like that. So we'll see the bit of turret over the top there like that, and that is using exactly the same vanishing point, but we're looking from down on the ground. Here we're kind of looking eye level, and then if we did something like that, then we could also have it at a much more acute angle coming down here like that. If that's kind of the base floor plan, then we're going to see the tracks that are coming up there like that, and something like this. So you're going to see it from a very different angle, and you're looking down on the turret, and the gun will be sort of sticking out forwards like that. If that, it's way down there. Sorry about that. Let me do that again. So if we have the kind of the vanishing line down here, like that. Actually, let's make it go a bit more over there than it's like that, so that we know that the tracks are going to do something kind of like that, with wheels, as it were, and then we got the top part there, and then the turret, the base of the turret is like an ellipse, and then we build up on top of the ellipse another ellipse, and then we have the gun sticking out at the front like that. But this is all going back to the same vanishing point as all of these, and it's just a one point perspective, just using that one point. Okay. And now you tell me I had the wrong camera on. No, I hope not. So let's have a look. Right, I'm not doing any more drawings, so I'm just going to go through your questions. Eddie Redmayne stories. Yeah, I'm trying my best to bring you into the dark. That's where we were. Question: if your pen is your mouse, how do you do your books? Do you draw and then you scan, or do you draw and then redraw with a Wacom? I draw and I paint and I scan it, and then it all gets put into InDesign or something like that, and published. It's paper, pen, and watercolour. Old school. Trails is lol. Jessica Taylor, you explain things so well. Thank you. Trails, and all from mind blown. Crispin Dry, bit at the end is a muzzle brake. Thank you. There's always someone who knows. It's just really, really good. Big Shed Art, that could be applied helpfully to the Wednesday market bus too. Exactly, it can be applied to absolutely anything. So let me come back to that. Let's draw a horizon line across the middle like that. there's a vanishing point, and we had these lines coming out, radiating all over the place, right? Basically, you had these kind of building blocks, and there, if we got a building block, but if this is a square, you know that a circle fits inside a square, so you could use a circle as well, and you could also have something up there. So here we can build a box like that. Here, because we know we made a square, a circle fits perfectly inside a square by touching at the midpoints. This is geometry, but by doing that, you create the perfect ellipse that fits at that point in the perspective, from which you can then build up, and you would just see a flat thing, because the flat top, because that is in line with the horizon. But up here, then that's quite different. If that comes to here and to there, then you're kind of building, that's going to be the midline. So anyway, across here you would be building the top of a turret. So if you wanted to do, say, like a castle tower, which we were doing last week, then you've got that on the top, and that is the curve that you want at that, for this thing in this placing within the landscape, and that is where its foundations are going to be built. This here could be some kind of, sort of some kind of land speeder thing that's sort of flying through the sky. This is Elon Musk's new car, whoosh whoosh whoosh, flying through the sky. So it works up in the sky as well as it does down on the ground. And here again, if this is coming right at you, it's going to be like that. And again, if you've got the sun over here, then that's where the sun is acting like a perspective point. This is where your shadow is going to be. The sun will then be creating a shadow like that, and that's coming down there, and that's from the base there, that will be coming across and up there like that, and then the sun will be casting a shadow kind of probably underneath the whole thing as well. Yeah. So it works in the air as well as it does on the ground, and you just kind of build boxes. Everything is box. Go and look on this channel. There's the thing, sort of get your head inside the box. I think the video, I did it years ago. Just get the idea of boxes. Everything is made of boxes. It's made of cylindrical boxes. It's made of square boxes. Right. How are we doing? Foresighting and foreshortening. Foreshortening comes into all of this as well. Charles, love that perspective. Foresighting. Oh man, so much. It is very hard. It is very hard. I'm not saying it's easy. To some people it comes more easily to some people than it does to others. But if you play with it and practice it, I'll show you this one other thing. This is where all the the Renaissance artists, when they kind of discovered this, they went crazy for it. So there's the horizon. And so if you go and look at, Fra Angelico, things like that. Let's do a few of these like that. Okay. So then we can draw like a courtyard. Okay, is that all on there? Right, that's moved it. Right. So imagine this is a courtyard. The nearest to you will be quite wide, and then the further away these lines will get closer and closer together. So somebody earlier was saying, how do you get that feeling of the distance? The lines get closer and closer. Okay, so do this. Do this with a ruler, because I haven't got time to do that. That pen's not going to work. And then this is what those old guys just love doing in their paintings, because it immediately, if you put a floor in with sort of marble tiles into your painting, it just immediately gives it this amazing feeling of perspective. And can you see it building up? And this is very inaccurate, but you can see the way that it is building up. And I particularly remember when in the early days of computer games, you would get a lot of games with these checkerboards on, because it was just so cool that you could do it, and that you could sort of create this. And that's how they kind of first created the sort of feeling of sort of depth and perspective in computer games, was just to put something like this. So I think, was it Paddle? I think after Pong, I think came Paddle, so which had the walls, and to be able to get that feeling of perspective, the walls were all done something like this. And you'll find Salvador Dali picked up on this a lot. And let me just go all the way in here. So Salvador Dali, he loved this kind of perspective stuff, and would do. He sort of took a whole lot of stuff from those Renaissance artists, and for the perspective kind of stuff. And you've immediately got a feeling of a kind of a Salvador Dali painting there. But then Renaissance artists would then kind of put some columns there like that. Something like that, with something across the top, and then they'd have sort of a happy angel with a harp, something like that, and Salvador Dali would then draw a table with a watch dripping on it, or a clock dripping over the top of it, and it would all be done in in perspective, going off to maybe he'd have something like a cactus in the distance, which was the vanishing point, something like that. So now I am not going to draw anymore. I'm going to find my Wacom pen and finish off answering your questions. Perspective question. The vanishing point is... Oh, hang on. There's quite a few going on here. Big Shed, that could be applied helpfully to the Wednesday Market Bus. Exactly. The Wednesday Market Bus is just a box. Okay. It's a box, but with the corners rounded and knocked off here and there. Lionel Barto, I'm afraid. Perspective question. If your vanishing point is a range of mountains, how do you draw perspective? Because some mountains in front could be smaller than the ones behind. Then, again, I think you could do... the mountains were going to be pretty much on the horizon. And you would pretty much draw the nearer ones with a kind of a thicker line, and the ones at the back with the thinner line. Ones nearer to you will most likely be a darker shade, and the ones in the background will be a lighter tint going off into the distance. Marilyn Moser makes a lot of sense. Looks very good. Thank you. Love that perspective. Also, oh man, it's very helpful we've done that, haven't we? Well, it's fantastic to watch you sketching so spontaneously too. Brilliant talent. Thank you. Joyce says, share Shoo's channel far and wide, people. Yes. And if you really, really love this, you might like to go to my Patreon channel, where you can buy me a cup of coffee once a month. Just help me keep going. And where are we? Thumbs ups are very good. Such an enjoyable way to spend an hour online, learning so much. Thank you, Shoo. Total inspiration. Thank you, Joyce. Crispin Dry. And leave a thumbs up to everybody. Now, look, I can watch you as you put a thumbs up. Somebody's giving me a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up now. Now you see there's going to be a little delay, so I'm hoping to go do. Crispy Diet, leave a thumbs up. 1, 2, 3. Right, I've forgotten a lot of this stuff over the years, but this video definitely has jogged my memory on perspective. You explained it simply and clearly. Thanks, you. Thank you too. Ryan Burkhardt, Shoo, I really enjoyed your program. Thank you, bro. Thank you too. Coos Magnet, thank you. You are awesome. Thank you, Trails. Oops, I meant foreshortening. I thought you might have meant foreshortening. Yeah, so foreshortening has got a lot to do with this, and foreshortening is look, my hand, my hand is bigger than my head. Oh, it's blowing my mind. But now my hand has got really, really small, and that is foreshortening. It's bringing things nearer to you. So, and you can, it's an effect that you use. Diddly 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 dee. Carolina, thanks this is so great watching you. For me, it's much better than reading it in your book and trying it on my own. Crazy Crocs, yeet. Hi, that looks nice. Thank you. Wash hands. Olivia Mills is obsessed. I want everybody at the end of this session to go and wash your hands. That is after. Thank you for a few more thumbs up. That is after you've given me a thumbs up. And after you've gone just to check out my Patreon page. And Judy says, brilliant. Lots to practice this evening when there's nothing good on TV. What's on today? I don't know. We're working our way through Line of Duty at the moment. Trails TM. I remember Darley, the melting clock, got a distinction for it. Yeah, good. Oh, I got 2 thumbs down. Yeah. Olivia Mills, Darley is one of a kind. He certainly is. He certainly is. Tom Carr's giving me a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, now it makes sense. Thank you. Thumbs up. Shoo deserves some dot on Patreon for doing these, methinks, says Judy. Thank you for reminding people. Marilyn Moser, good deal. Pinwheel. Marilyn Moser, hee. Thanks for your answer earlier, says Sam Muser86. What is your preferred paper? Do you ever use watercolour paper? I do, yes. And I said quite often I have this secret supply of watercolour paper called CS2, which they stopped making about 20 years ago. I think the paper mill went broke. And I still have a secret supply. Otherwise, I do use other watercolour papers. There's the one that I do like. One I like is this Arches Aquarelle. And I like the hot pressed, which means it's very flat, which works really well for scanning. You want to have a nice flat surface if you're sort of scanning paintings. 123 Rock Fan. It's funny how the David is one of the most famous pieces of art, but the proportion of the hands are wrong. Yeah, maybe. You'll also find a strange thing with statues, especially a really big piece of statuary, that you're at the bottom looking up. So sometimes they might have actually made the whole thing go like that to make it appear to be bigger than it is. Or they might have made it go like that to make it kind of loom over you even more. So it depends how big this statue is actually going to be and where you're viewing it from as to quite how the artist is going to create the thing to be viewed from a particular point. Whereas, a painting, it's a flat thing. You're going to stand in front of it. It's there. A sculptor, you're moving around and getting a different feel to it. BFA18, your fan from Saudi Arabia. How are you doing out there? I bet it's hot there. Don't forget, Patreon, thank you. Joseph Miller, thanks again, Shoo, for your perspective. Oh, I get it. I get what you did there. Great show. Stay safe. Jessica Taylor says thumb. Marilyn Moser, don't pay attention to the thumbs down. You are very informative. Thank you. 3 thumbs down now. But wait a minute. Who has stayed this long to give thumbs downs? Samson is a nice choice. I use Arches hot press too. Excellent. Oh, Jose Adriano Queiroz, thanks, Mr. Rayner from Brazil. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Portuguese is it's just gone. I know what thank you in Portuguese is. It has gone. It has just gone. No. But thank you anyway. So there we go. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you. We've been an hour and a quarter now. So thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow, come back for Renita Boyle, a force of nature. I can actually show you. I can show you her. This is her website. RanitaBoyle.co.uk, and in theory that should be changing. There is Ranita. I'll be meeting her tomorrow, and you can learn all about tea bags. Tea bags. Find what's tea bags got to do with it? Find out tomorrow. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that, then please do make sure you are subscribed to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel, and while you're about it, click the little bell next to the subscribe button and you will be notified when the next live drawing video will be. In the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.